All right, let's jump into the news, man. We got some good news. That's good. What day is it today, actually? 31st. Greetings, fellow Empyreans. I am Ashtarothi, and it is March 31st, YC 124, and this is the Eve Universe Show. We have some news before we jump into the main topics of the day, so let's go ahead and look at what is going on. We just have a couple of pieces of news that I wanted to look at. Mostly some good news. Plex for Good. Plex for Good wrapped up. We did it for a few weeks. It was a big deal. So obviously there's the Ukraine conflict, which has hurt a lot of people in both inside of Eve and out on all sides of it. And so we performed a Plex for Good, which is an opportunity that CCP gives us for major disasters and other things like that. And we are able to donate our Plex, which, obviously 500 Plex is equivalent to 1 month of game time, which is $15 to $20, depending on how you do the math. And we turn in the Plex to CCP. CCP then turns that back into money and then donates it for things. As they show down here, we've done it a few times before. We've done it for, the Haitian earthquake. We've done it for the Japanese earthquake, for Hurricane Irene. I remember we did it for the brush fires. That was a big one when COVID-19 came out. And then, of course, now with Ukraine. These have been historically very, very successful, and we've had a good time with it. However, this time is insane, is absolutely insane. So together we have achieved something amazing. With the Plex for Good Ukraine fundraiser now wrapped together, Capsuleers, individual Eve developers, and CCP Games have raised a remarkable $501,652 USD. That is nuts. That is nuts. Okay, hold on. So I know that this time CCP opted to match our donations. But even if you assume that they didn't do that any of the other times, we still got over twice as much, almost twice. Over twice as much as almost any other time besides maybe the COVID-19 and the Haitian earthquakes, or the typhoon rather. So this is insane. This is crazy. This is almost every other Plex for Good put together. And of course, last time we had things like the Golden Magnate that was sold for $1 million Plex to Scott Manley. This time it was just people wanting to put in their Plex. $500,000, $500,000. This money will now directly help those impacted by the ongoing war in Ukraine, including the millions forced to flee their home and lives to find safety. It is going to the UNCHR, the UN Refugee Agency, the National Bank of Ukraine Humanitarian Assistance Campaign. Then it talks a little bit about the different organizations that it's going to. This says that you, the amazing Capsuleers of New Eden, proved that kindness and humanity are core values of the Eve community by contracting Plex in the in-game character CCP Plex for Good, an account operated by CCP Games. Our developers, who hail from all over the world, including Ukraine and Russia, also made numerous donations for Plex for Good themselves, with CCP then matching all total donations for the campaign. With the war having such an awful impact on so many millions, thank you for joining us down the rabbit hole. It remains time for empathy with all impacted and hope for resolutions that lead to a lasting peace. Yet the Eve community should rightfully feel proud about what we've achieved. It will directly help the other people in need. At CCP, there is a sense of deep gratitude that the player community has been so generous in coming together. I gotta say, I find this incredibly moving, and I'm not gonna lie. When this whole thing kicked off, I was pretty darn nervous about it. Not just because of all of the, World War III stuff, which is all very, very spooky, but on a more selfish note, what it would mean for us in EVE Online. The Russians and Ukrainians and other Slavics have always had a very disproportionate impact on the game. Their history goes like is stitched into the very nature of the universe. And at the same time, EVE is the kind of game that doesn't just take a time out if you're busy going to or fleeing from war. So, there's been I had a lot of concern about how we as a community would process this. And what I've seen is probably the best version of that I could expect. We not only have we raised $500,000, which is a very clear sign to the world that we care about this and that we're here to support it no matter what. But the various different, we've seen a lot of events unfolding in game when it comes to people or organizations like Fire Coalition that are associated with Russians and Ukrainian organizations. One of the things I'm really proud of is our ability as a community to divorce the politics and the leadership or whatever, the regime running the Russian government and the Russian people. It'd be very, very easy for us to fall back into kind of our more basic instincts and more racist instincts. And honestly, let's be frank, EVE Online has historically a mixed history when it comes to racist behavior towards Russians in particular. So the fact that, we have seen such a positive outpouring in this and a recognition of universal brotherhood, I think is incredibly, incredibly inspiring. So I hope that this message, I hope that the fact that we did this gets into the main news. And I hope that this becomes a clear message in that regard, because I think that it's important. I think that what we've done is important, and we shouldn't diminish it. We have now raised over 1.2 million USD. Yeah, so almost half of all of the money that we've raised comes from this one campaign. If you are still willing to donate, they have links for all of the different stuff. I will post a link to this blog. On a final note, the EVE Online community is about fun, adventure, and excitement, which can be found in New Eden. But our collective power also means that we can do amazing things, and we should never forget what we can achieve. This is actually a bigger thing. Like, I don't even know if this should be a but. Like, the collective power, our collective power to do amazing things is kind of one of the whole reasons why EVE is important, right? Like, this is why EVE is in the Museum of Art. This is a big thing, is that we live in these virtual spaces, EVE being one of them, and together we perform acts of cooperation, collaboration, and creativity that are far beyond what we could do given physical human limitations. That is a big check, and that is a very, very happy CCP Swift. And very stern, I don't know, CCP convict. I'm very happy about this, guys. Thank you all for everybody who participated. I do wish that they would come out with like a yellow and blue Quaif shirt or SOE shirt for us for doing this, but that's just because I want everybody to be able to have a recognition to remember it by. Yeah. So that's some good news, man. That's some good news. And thanks for indulging me in checking it out. So if you're watching this on YouTube, that's it for this. You can check out all the rest of my videos on my channel. I've got quite a few, both educational, news-oriented, lore, etc. Make sure to subscribe to the channel before you go, like and comment if you enjoyed it, or, well, I guess comment either way. And until next time, I've been Ashrathi. I'll see you in space.